Hi guys, this is Obama Adumabaritia. Today I want to tell you some things I learned from grandma. I know I told you about some 3 things she told me that has really positively changed my life, but today it is another dimension of her life that wasn't much discussed. Disclaimer, I'm not a health professional. I have no level of education in medicine or in the sciences. Okay, so I am speaking directly from experiences that I've seen with my naked eyes, and for a person who from her own point of view felt what I'm about to talk about. So today I'm about to touch on some very interesting thing that you have to find out, make sure you know, and make sure you do well to stay away from it. What am I talking about? It's sugar. My grandmom was blessed to grow to 103 years old before she died, and until then, 8 years before she died, she was diagnosed of diabetes. There's a type 1 and there's a type 2. The type 1 is actually inborn. It's something maybe you were born with it, or with your own immune system fighting the pancreas. It is not able to produce a lot of insulin the body needs, so it tends to be diabetes. Okay, so type 2 is rather the kind of disease that is a lifestyle disease. That is the statement the nurses told us. So when we got home, it was a stern warning. She told me, don't die by this disease. So I asked her, Grandma, why do you think you got this disease? Then she started telling me story of her life. Ready? She told me that from childhood she hadn't taken sugar before because her parents, they take breakfast in the morning and apa benku. And apa tutu benku. Benku ni nkruma or benku and nkwan. If you are not a Ghanaian, I mean banku and okra stew or banku and soup. Morning breakfast, not tea, not oats, not Tom Brown. No, they don't do those things. They do heavy in the morning because the parents of my grandma were farmers. So as they were farmers, they would have to eat heavy, go to the farm at dawn around 5:30, start working till 12 or 11:30 where the sun is coming so hard. Then they would have to go and find something to eat once more, rest, do some harvesting if there is harvesting to do, and continue the next day. So they didn't indulge or involve themselves in eating sugar. And by then, buying chicken was once in a year, and that is 25th December. That is when every parent bought chicken. Now listen to the breakdown she gave me. Every parent buying chicken in the house doesn't mean you, the child, would get chicken to chew, because there is a chronology for sharing the chicken. So the first person to get the maximum part of the chicken is the father, because he is a provider of the chicken. The money for the chicken was from the pocket of the father. So definitely he is going to have the upper hand when it comes to sharing of the meat. He normally has a tie of the meat, okay? And it's going to be taken throughout the week. So it's not going to be taken once in the day while the weeks continue. It is going to be taken throughout the week. So one chicken shared throughout the week, meaning it is in bits and in pieces. And during those times, they used to eat chicken, which is bread, born and bred in the house. In Ghana, we call it efiakoko. That is what normally they used for Christmas, not the poultry farm chicken, which is so fat and fluffy and can't even move their legs, so lazy. You put corn there and they are very lazy to even pick one corn. No, they use the chicken which is born and bred from home. It's a hustler type of chicken. It can run away even when you have knife on their throats to slaughter them. And it means also that they ate rice very, very subtly. So during festive seasons like Christmas or Easter, they would have to cook rice, the whole house eats it, and that's all. The rest of the time, they ate the original food from Ghana, like the ampesi, like the bankun, like the fufu, like the tozafi, like the yeke yeke, like the abom. That is what they ate around the clock. But during festive season, they would break and eat white rice. With this account, she told me that this is what has been happening. So she never recorded, or her health personnel never recorded high blood pressure with her, because the woman was healthy. She was living healthy, and she didn't like eating pastries and anything which contains sugar. So that is the way she was eating. So when we asked the nurses, so what should be her eating pattern? They told us, reduce your salt, don't eat red meat, eat lean meat if you want to eat meat. So if we talk about red meat, we're talking about cow, we are talking about sheep, we are talking about all those energetic farm animals. Okay, so if you talk about lean meat, the lean meat has white flesh like chicken. Chicken's flesh is white. Like turkey's flesh is white. Like akwashede. You know akwashede? Yes. Akwashede's skin is white. So that is lean meat. So she can take a matches box size of lean meat if she wants to taste it once in a while, and take dried fish. They gave her a whole lot of things, including counseling eating sugar at all. So she shouldn't eat sugar at all, and also she had to concentrate on taking medicine throughout her life. So with my experience that I want to share with you, I want to share with you something you've not really thought of. Eating sugar. Okay, right now, because of preservations and things, everything or almost everything we eat in this world contains sugar. So the next time you would want to find something to eat, try looking at the content, the product, whatever was used to make the product. Know whether there is sugar content in it. Is it high? Is it low? Is it moderate? Even milk contains sugar. Bread, pastries, everything now contains sugar. Please reduce the level at which you eat sugar. For you who hasn't lived with someone with diabetes before, let me describe how it looks like for you. Grandma was someone who was quite plumpy, but during the few weeks where she was diagnosed of diabetes, she had to lose weight. She lost like 5 or 10 pounds. And she was urinating as often as you can think of. She could urinate 10-15 times in a day. Just imagine, picture yourself peeing 15 times or 10 times in a day. Talk less of the night. The night hasn't come, because during the night is when the urination is multiplied. She could urinate that she feels her mouth was dry. Okay, that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is that she could eat and feel hungry instantly. So she was constantly eating and feeling hungry. Constantly. She would eat right now, in 30 minutes time she's hungry. She would eat, she's hungry. She would eat, she's hungry. Even though I can't really describe the scientific reason why it was happening so, the doctors and nurses told us that that is one of the symptoms of having this disease. And because she was taking so much food, she was getting so much urination. She was urinating so much because she had to push some out, definitely. And anything that hadn't had any chaff was exempted from her diet. So she didn't take rice, she didn't take white bread, she didn't take white sugar, she didn't take too much salt, she didn't take too much oil. She just lived healthily afterwards. She had to. It was a requirement. Also, one thing I saw about diabetes is that it could affect your sight, because she was not really seeing well, but with the diagnosis, after the diagnosis, we realized that she was having eye aches. Her eye could ache and ache and ache. Okay, so it's actually made us realize that no, the eye ache is actually as a result, because the doctor told us that she could lose her sight. So it could be that the eye ache is as a result of the diabetes she had. Okay, apart from that, she was not living a day without taking medicine. That's the hardest part of it, because sometimes she could take medicine and sit and even sneeze. As she sneezes, she said, I can smell medicine through my nostrils. She felt very sick that she didn't want to take the medicine, but this disease is on another level, because if you don't want to take it, you're going to be hospitalized. You're going to take like 10 drips at once, and it is devastating. And in fact, it is also a drain to your pocket. So formerly, I heard that they say it is a sickness for rich people. It's a That's what normally was said about this disease, because it will drain you. No matter how many national health insurance cards you have, you would still have to buy some of these medicines. You'd have to buy test strips that you'll be testing yourself every time. You'd have to buy thermometer. You'd have to buy a couple of things that will make your life quite easier with this disease. Reading of late, I realized that even if you were a man, it could render you impotent, totally impotent. There are so many things that is involved in this sickness that grandma's caution she gave, that don't die by or with this disease, made me think of sharing this with you, that there is some sickness. There are so many sicknesses around, but there's one particular one you have to pay attention to, because it's a lifestyle disease. It is your lifestyle that would make it come or not. And it takes time to pile up. It takes time to pile up. It doesn't just come out of the blue. It will take time. Gradually, you would find out that no, you are not getting better. You are sent and they say you have type 2 diabetes. Please help yourself. There are so many people who can be at risk. The first person is someone who is an alcoholic or someone who smokes. You are destroying the organs in your system. So definitely the pancreas is also part of the organ, so you are at risk. Also, someone who is at risk is someone who has a family history of diabetes. So maybe someone in your family has had it before. It is something you have to pay attention to. It means that your level at which you eat, your dieting is not good. So please eat well. Also, someone who just likes eating rampantly, eating by impulse. You feel like eating this. You feel like eating this. You are eating everything your heart tells you to eat. You are also at risk of getting diabetes. Talk less of someone who also likes sugar a lot. Definitely, it is not only sugar that causes diabetes. Eating so much red meat, always eating cow, always eating pig, always eating this, that. All of them can give you a high risk, but also sugar is also one of the causes. So you can find sugar in milk, you can find sugar in teas, you can find sugar in pastries, you can find sugar in food, preserved food, tinned tomatoes, and most of the foods that we know contains sugar. So make sure that any time you want to think about conserving energy, you want to think about conserving your health for the future, always know that there is this sickness called diabetes. You can get it or you can skip it if you eat well, and if you check yourself regularly. Checking yourself is also very important to know the level at which your health is, so that doctors and nurses can advise you on what exactly to do to boost your health and to boost everything that is in you. Thanks for watching this video. I would want to thank Symbolic Studios a lot for this wonderful studio and the beautiful setup. And thank you. Thank you very much. Serve yourself on this channel. Thanks to OA Media Consult and Photography. Have a very, very good day. Meet at the flip side.